Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Form coming at you guys today with another video, and it's a late one, guys. Just finished up a podcast, and football's back, man. Detroit Lions, day one of training camps, about for observations for 2023. You know, guys like Eric Schlitt, John Macaron, Tim Twentyman, Mike O'Hara, Dave Burkett, Jeff Risdon, Jeremy Reisman, putting out the info. They are at training camp right now, and they're trying to put out everything they can, and I'm trying to gather that info so I can tell you guys. In attendance, there was 3 players on the injury list. Hooker, Hendon Hooker, the 3rd-round rookie that we drafted out of Tennessee, and Marvin Jones Jr. on the NFI list, the non-football injury list. And Emmanuel Mosley, that we picked up free agent-wise, gave a 1-year deal to $6 million, I believe it was, something like that, maybe a little bit more, but sounds about right. Cornerback, he's on the PUP list, the physical, unable to perform. And then guys like Derek Deese, the tight end we picked up as a UDFA last year, and defensive lineman Zach Morton that we picked up this year, were removed from the NFI list, and they are back practicing, which is good. With several players back as well, guys like Tracy Walker, back from that devastating injury he had last year at safety. Frank Ragnow is activated, limited though at center. Levi Rizarike was a big surprise, a good surprise at defensive tackle. He is practicing, but it's taken him slow too as well. Then David Montgomery, who was hurt during OTAs and those short mini camps, he's back at running back. And Malcolm Rodriguez, who got hurt early too, the 6th-round rookie from last year, who surprisingly won a job. He's back at the linebacker spot. 90-minute practices, no pads, so it's like that acclimation period where they got 3 days of these type of practices, and they're going to go from there. But there's some good things going on this defense. It was day one. There was on the offense too as well. There wasn't a lot of bad things to say. There wasn't a lot of bad things to say. No real negativity going on. Is there a new look defense going on? There's some changes on the day one period, maybe some experimental things going on. But Hutchinson and John Kaminsky were the starters as the bookends. Hutch at times moving in a little bit close as that closed end defensive end position, and Charles Harris to the open side. Trying to get those two in there at the same time is going to be a problem if Harris can stay healthy. And then more shifts included guys like Kaminsky or Pascal playing the 5 tech, and Harris moves out onto to play the Sam linebacker role, which is kind of a new thing, him standing up, but he did do it a couple years back when he broke out as the rush end for the Detroit Lions. And that's what Charles Harris is. He is a rush end. Let's not get it all twisted up, but playing some Sam linebacker, trying to get some guys in there as well too. So putting some more responsibilities on Charles Harris's plate, and that's a good thing. So it's kind of, it's a little bit new, but we have seen him play stand-up before as well when he broke out with that 7.5, 8 sacks he had a couple years back. But he's going to have to learn some coverage things, and you have to be a little bit more responsible as a linebacker. So it's good, and we like that. So Harris was jumping back and forth with who else? He was jumping back and forth with the linebackers in the D-line room and the drills, individual drills, so more stuff on his plate, like I said. More opportunity for Harris and other players, like I talked about. Again, versatility is key here. You're going to see some 5-man fronts going on with this defense. Hopefully, health is key. In the second-team defense, we saw guys like James Houston, the breakout player from last year. Him and Julian Akwara were pretty much splitting reps. Akwara got the nod first, but Houston was right behind him getting reps, so you like that too. And guys, Houston and Akwara dropping back in the coverage, something that Houston's not really keen to doing, not really that great at doing it, but he was actually making some plays. So an early camp battle could be going on. It's only day one between James Houston and Julian Akwara. I personally think Julian Akwara is on the bubble, so we'll see what happens here. This is one of those stay tuned moments. And then the interior D-line, they were rolling with 3 lines. McNeil and Buggs in the first team. Christian Covington, newly acquired, and Broderick Martin, the rookie out of Western Kentucky, were on the number 2 defense. And then you saw Levi and Rizarike, which is a big plus, and Benito Jones playing that number 3 defense. So limiting Levi on Rizurike, though. Still got to be a little bit careful with him. He does have that bad back. He's had surgery on that back, so got to take care of the big fella. So it's good to hear that Levi is back. Now, hybrid nickel is set early right now. You got that CJ Gardner-Johnson, who came from Philadelphia, played with the Saints. He's a hybrid. He's the hybrid nickel, like I'm saying. Plays a lot of nickel cornerback and can drop back into safety anytime. So he was on the first team, CJ Gardner-Johnson, showing versatility and range, lining up over wide receivers, stacking the box, so playing on the line, and dropping back to safety too. So the versatility is there. And then Brian Branch, the second round rookie that we took around the 45th pick, I'm going to say it was, showing range as well, having a good day in the box, in the slot. We like his versatility as well too. Both players even out there at the same time, something that we need to see as well. You have Gardner at the safety position, you get Branch in there at the nickel corner, and vice versa, and we can see what we can do with this defense. I'm really liking the way this defense is going to get set up. Hopefully it can be as good as advertised. It's early though. Now safeties, had Tracy Walker in there and Kirby Joseph as the starters, and you got Ifeatu Malifonwu as kind of the second teamer guy. No real competition there going on. You got Brady Breeze hanging around, and then with the versatility of guys like CJ Gardner-Johnson and Brian Branch, the safety room set. So it's a really good safety room, man. I'm liking it right now. And then Mosley out, Emmanuel Mosley, the cornerback we picked up. Opportunities arise. So Jerry Jacobs steps in right away for Emmanuel Mosley, and Cam Sutton are the 1 and 2 guys right there. So Sutton being the 1 and Jerry Jacobs being that number 2, but both starters. And then Will Harris backing up Cameron Sutton, which is frightening to me. And then UDFA rookie Starling Thomas, the 5th, I believe it is, at that number 2 spot. Thomas looking good too as well out there, playing some special teams as well. I think I talk about it a little bit later, but yeah, he's looking good out there. And then you got Chase Lucas and Starling Thomas playing with the number 3s as well. So that's a little bit concerning there because of all the reps he's getting. It's good that he's getting the reps. I'm not discouraged by that. I'm a little bit worried about just the over usage. Because you got Jaron Williams and another undrafted free agent, Stephen Gilmore, as the number 4 guys playing on that team D4. But I'm kind of expecting or thinking that maybe another corner is going to be coming in soon, and you might see a guy like Jaron Williams or Stephen Gilmore dropped right away. It just seems like that is kind of the setup. Especially with Mosley being out on the pup right now, so who knows when he's going to come back. And then the right guard is the right guard set right away. Day 1 didn't really show that. They had Graham Glasgow starting at right guard, and Big V taking number 2 reps. So we saw that early, day 1, like I said. So maybe they're taking it easy with the big fella, Big V. But I guess he had some good footwork. He was looking good out there. And then Matt Nelson, something a little bit different too. He was at left tackle in the second team. And then Jermaine Ifeatu, a guy they picked up, a former first-round pick, by the way, was at right tackle on the number 2 team as well. So it's going to be interesting right there. We're going to see some camp battles between Nelson and Ifeatu. And there's a few guys in there as well. And then they had Ross Perschbacher at center on the number 1 team. Looks like Ragnow still limited. Not doing some things. He needs to take it easy. He got that foot. You're going to see a lot of times where I'm going to be talking about this all year, up through the whole season. It seems like that Ragnow is just going to be limited up until game time if he doesn't hurt himself. So I'm a little bit concerned there. Hopefully Ragnow can stay healthy. But that toe is completely damaged. Can't even be operated on. It's inoperable. So it's going to be. Hopefully it's not going to be a problem, but it sounds like it could be. Hopefully not. Then they got Darren Paulo on the second team at left guard, and then Coyote Awasika getting dropped down to the number 3 again. The number 3 left guard. So again, it's early. It's day 1, but there was some shifting going on in this O-line, trying to find some chemistry, trying to find something different here. So you know who our starters are. It's going to be Ragnow, should be Big V if healthy. And then you got, Jonah Jackson as the other left guard, and then you got the big fella Taylor Decker at left tackle, and then the other bigger fella, or just as big, or whatever he is, at right tackle, Penei Sewell. So those are your starters. Hopefully there's not too much shifting going on there. We need some guys to get healthy. And then you had Logan Stenberg was rotating on the third team. A little bit surprising to some of the journalists, the beat writers, because he was starting on the walkthrough. He was in there as the starter. So we need to keep an eye on Logan Stenberg. I think he's the guy that's on the bubble, personally. He hasn't really done much since being drafted by Bob Quinn, 3-4 years back. So we'll see what happens with Logan Stenberg, but he's going to really need to show out, I think, to make this team. Then nothing from Denzel Mims. I know Denzel Mims was acquired a few days ago from the New York Jets for a 6th conditional. We get a 7th back in Mims. He's still working on the playbook. No drills. I think he was there because he did turn down an interview by a reporter, but he will be talking to the reporters tomorrow. So no words from Mims. Kind of working on the sidelines, doing his thing. Got to get into his nose to the playbook. He needs to learn the Ben Johnson offense, and it's not an easy playbook to learn. But Goff's excited to work with him, calling him, a big, tall, fast wide receiver. He had some things going on in New York, and hopefully he can pan out here and become that that number 4, number 5. I think at worst. We already have our 1s through 4. I've talked about it on the Ross St. Brown, Reynolds, Raymond, and Jones Jr. Those are your 1 through 4. And then, Mims has a chance to be a 5. J-Mo coming back after week 6 is going to be an issue. Hopefully it's a good issue to have, a good problem to have. But probably Jones or Denzel Mims could be the odd man out. They could even carry 6. So we'll see what happens there. And the wide receivers, I was just talking about the combo of Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo, Reynolds, and Raymond were basically your starters right there. Working well with Goff, by the way, too. Didn't look like there was any bad chemistry, any bad throws as well. The reserves were Tom Kennedy. He stood out in practice again like he always does for training camp. He was making some guys look silly, but that's what Tom Kennedy does during training camp. He's always that fan favorite. Guys love him. The Maurice Alexander looking smooth out there, especially on punt returns as well. Punt return drills. And then running backs, Montgomery and Gibbs are splitting reps as starters. So that's good to see too. Then Craig Reynolds right now is your number 3, was in there today. And then, the newly acquired Justin Jackson, who we had last year, but we re-signed Justin Jackson. He's back. He was stood out in special teams as well. And he was the personal protector for Jack Fox, our punter, the PP they call it. And Justin Jackson is probably going to win that number 3 spot. So your 4, 5, and your 4s, who's going to be their 4 is going to be Craig Reynolds, Jamar Jefferson. They released Greg Bell. Muhammad Ibrahim's in there, so there's going to be probably a trio of a fight going on for that number 4 is my guess. And then you got Kabinda in there too somewhere. And they love Kabinda. I'm not a big fan of the fullback, but they got him in there. And then tight end, they got the rotating in the first teams. It was Brock Wright, Sam Laporta, the rookie out of Iowa, and Shane Zylstra were the number 1. So Laporta was flashing, though he just doing what he was doing back in rookie camp, in OTAs, short mini camps. He was showing out a little bit, though. So he made some plays. And then Mitchell has tight end 4. Was going to see what happens there. We got a lot of tight ends there. We got Derek Deese Jr., who made a play. So we got some talent at the tight end position. No superstar, but we got good talent. Laporta could turn out to be something, but right now he's nothing. The special teams unit, Raymond, Khalif Raymond, number 1 punt returner right now. He was a 2nd team All-Pro last year. Very underrated as a wide receiver and a special team guy. Sometimes I forget that he's on this team, but he's a really good football player. So Khalif got that number 1 punt return locked down. And then he was in St. Brown, too, as an emergency punt returner, and Alexander, too, as the 3rd guy coming in. He's got speed to burn. And they also had Jahmyr Gibbs, the 1st-round pick in there. It looked like it might have been an experiment thing. Who knows what's going on, but I don't see him taking back too many punts or kicks, even with that 4.38 speed. So we'll see what happens there. And then you got Starling Thomas in there again, and Brian Branch, the 2 rookies, as the gunners. Thomas being very fast, saying that possibly he's probably the fastest guy in the team. And then Brian Branch throwing that 40 out the window because he was flying down the window, flying down the field according to Eric Schlitt. And he thinks he's a much faster guy than his 4.56 or 4.58 was. He said, I'm a lot faster than that. It's game time, it just is. And then the second team gunners, you had Ife Melifonwu and rookie wide receiver Antoine Green. Green being another fast guy too as well. And Melifonwu can move for a bigger cornerback safety, whatever. He's playing pretty much safety this year, but he can move for a big fella. And then they had some more observations. Was Charles Harris getting a little extra physical. He popped Montgomery, took him to the ground actually. No pads though, just remember that, but he kind of took him to the ground, dumped him. Marvin Jones Jr. in the offense chirping Harris over it. And then you even see Montgomery wasn't too happy that he got thrown on the ground. Then you had Jalen Reeves-Maybin, back in the mix again too. He was a Lion a couple years ago, moved on to greener pastures and signed a better deal in Houston, Texans. Not a better situation, but more money. And then he's back as a Detroit Lion. We lost C.J. Moore over that gambling thing. He's done for the year, kicked out of the league, got to reinstate. He wants to come back. And he was a standout at special teams. Jalen Reeves-Maybin is a standout special team player, and he's a pass coverage kind of linebacker. Got some wheels on him. He also had a pick, I think, too, against Adrian Martinez. I might talk about that. I think I wrote it down. It bounced off Dylan Drummond's hands, though. So it's good to see that Jalen Reeves-Maybin was in there and got a pick. His first interception of the training camp, the first one overall. Against Adrian Martinez, another UDFA quarterback. And then J-Mo celebrates an early catch, knowing that he got the first down, put the outstretched hands, like, what's up? Like, probably doing one of those. And Williams looked to have improved his route running as well, too. So that's good that you see him out there, and he's being noticed as his route running has been night and day since last year, which is solid to have. He even looks bigger, J-Mo. I saw a couple of pictures. There's some pictures floating around on the internet. He's not a big, over-imposing guy, but he looks bigger than he was last year. He doesn't look out of shape either. So it's a good thing because he needs to get a little bit bigger. And then James Mitchell was out there as well, too. He's the tight end. He did have a nice catch from quarterback Adrian Martinez. He still is that tight end 4. He's going to really need to show out. Jack Campbell, the rookie linebacker, is on the second team defense. Anzalone and Derek Barnes were the number 1s. Didn't hear too much about Malcolm Rodriguez. He did make a play, though, on Craig Reynolds sniffing out a screen pass. So I think I talk about that, too. I don't know if I get into that, but it's probably coming up. But, yeah. And then Hendon Hooker is working out with the trainers. We know he's on that NFI list, non-football injury list. But he's working on pass drops with no ball, footwork, throwing short routes around the red zone, end zone, and even did sprints at the end of his day, less than 50 yards. So, the legs are holding up, the knees holding up. That's a good sign. Gibbs with a nice catch as well, too, in traffic. He did have a false start the play prior. And Montgomery had a nice one-hander, too, as well. So we got 2 pass-catching running backs in there, something that they lacked, I think, last year. Swift was that guy that could catch pretty much everything. But after that, Jamal Williams wasn't a great guy catching the football. Montgomery can do all the nice things like that as well, too. So I think Montgomery is a better running back. Is he going to produce like Jamal did? I think he can get over 1,000 yards. But is he going to get 17 touchdowns? If those opportunities arise like Williams did, I think he can come pretty damn close. But that's not what it's going to be about. He's just going to have overall better production. If he stays healthy, which, Montgomery's no stranger to the injury list. So, and then Goff, he was 11 of 12 on passes. Awesome. Lone miss was a wobbler to Zylstra, but Hutchinson was coming in and was barreling on him on a blitz, and he got to him. He could have just killed him, but obviously he's not gonna. They got that red. They got the red jerseys going on, so you don't hit the quarterback of your own team. But Hutch was going to have the sack or the disruption. So Hutch doing his thing. One bad pass by Goff. Love to hear it. And then you got Martin too, Broderick Martin, the big fella, the 6'5", 340-pound defensive tackle, nose tackle. Got up and deflected a Sudfeld pass, and at the line of scrimmage. He's huge. He's a mammoth, and he's long. That's what Broderick Martin is. He's just a big man. I saw a picture of him, where he was doing the burpees. Obviously, they do those burpees, those down ups, up downs, whatever they're called. We used to call them burpees when I played, and there was a picture of him. You can see him doing the burpees. He is humongous. He is just a big man, and so he's showing off his 6-foot frame, and that's just a good sign. It's a good sign that he's knocking down passes. That's what we want from him, to be disruptive, not only just to stop the run, to take up double teams. Knock some passes down, big fella. You got the length, use it. And then Rodriguez, I do talk about him a bit. He was showing off his read and recognition skills as a linebacker, recognizing a screen pass to Reynolds, and he blew it up. Really good to see that. And Houston was adding pressure on the play as well too. So great to see Houston out there making plays, not only dropping back in the coverage, but doing what he does best and getting to the quarterback, living in the backfield. That's what we love to hear. And then Mims was putting in work too after practice. 20 minutes after practice, working with Antoine Randall, our wide receivers coach, and you love hearing that stuff. He was a little bit tired. He was in an ice bath apparently after practice. He turned down an interview. He doesn't have to talk to some reporters, but he's scheduled to have a conversation with reporters tomorrow. So Denzel Mims in the Lions uniform, putting in work and putting in extra work. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see from Denzel Mims. That's it, guys. That's, like I said, I get all the reports that I can. I try to mix it all up, jumble it all up into one. And I got a lot of guys coming with this info. You can get it on the internet, but I like to do this for myself and for the subscribers of my YouTube channel. And, just the passion's coming back, man. I'm feeling it. We're back in football. Training camp is officially here. Football's back. We're literally 45 days away, I think, from kickoff against Kansas City. Ooh-wee. Let's go. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming into the video and getting the day one observations. I'm going to try to get out these daily. It depends on my shift and stuff like that. So some will be early, some will be later. But they are coming, guys. If they're a day late, sorry about that. It's just the way my schedule is. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. One pride. Go Lions. Boom. Bam. Let's go, guys. Woo!